Cool. Hi, everybody. This is a show called Public Comment that is verbatim theater, quoted from people in the community. We got all these lines from interviews and pulled up from city council meetings. Trigger warning for police brutality and racism. If you need to step out, that's fine, obviously. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. We're trying to, define Norman as a community and where we want to go. So hopefully we can do that. Thank you.
In 1870, the United States Land Office contracted with a professional engineer to survey much of Oklahoma Territory. Abner E. Norman, that guy, became chairman of the Central Survey Area in Indian Territory. The surveyor's crew burned the words Norman's Camp into an elm tree near a watering hole to taunt their younger supervisor. And when the Sooners, those who headed west before the official land run date, April 22nd, 1889, and other settlers arrived in the heart of Oklahoma, they kept the name Norman. Today, with an estimated 120,866 residents, Norman is the third largest city in the state of Oklahoma.
While other Oklahoma towns were battling to become the state's capital, Norman's mayor, T.R. Wagner, directed a bill for the territorial legislature to become home of the first institution of higher learning. In 1890, Norman was chosen as the location for the University of Oklahoma, OU, contingent upon the county passing bonds to construct a building. Town and country residents were also required to donate 40 acres of land for a campus site. Norman residents were successful in becoming OU's home, and by 1895, the university had enrolled 100 students. Today, Norman's campus has an enrollment of 22,000.
Today, OU and the city of Norman are still making history. Norman was recently recognized as one of the most progressive cities in the state, and the Norman Public School System was acknowledged as the top school system in Oklahoma. Norman's rich history continues to play an important role in citizens' lives, and we continually make the history books more exciting with each passing year.
All right, I know it's getting late. I know we're getting tired. I know emotions are running high.
We'll be here all night.
I have asked you to abide by the 3 minutes. I have asked you to abide by respecting people and not yelling across the room, and it goes both ways. We're trying to hear you. Please.
Dismantling the police department is not the answer. We don't have enough police officers. I don't have all the answers, and I don't agree with. Norman does not have bad police officers. They might need a little bit of counseling, but you put yourself in that position with 3 dead on Christmas Eve and then go home to your family. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff here tonight. Some real stories, and I believe every last one of them. Nobody's perfect, and we're all people. And all lives matter, not just black lives.
If you would have told me that 2020 was going to be 2020, would I have run? I don't know. That's a great question. And I'm a woman of faith, and when I was running, the Pastor Gaines was like, and you will win because Norman needs you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am gonna win, right? And it was that moment. I am convinced the Lord, universe, whatever you believe in, puts you where you need to be when you need to be there. Sometimes it's hard to see it, but I think I was the person that needed to be in this position in 2020.
So I was in grad school from 2017 until end of 2019. And there was an anti-black incident of racism that made national news like almost every semester that I was in grad school. And every time the university would be like, this is not who we are, like at some point it's like, yes it is, and we need to deal with it, And so I think that's the change that I see happening, is there's like a tension of people realizing that the problems are deeper rooted. And one of the things that I hear people say over and over and over again is like, I always thought Norman was such a nice town. And then they hear the stories of what people experience here, particularly people of color. And so, I mean, that's just something that, yeah, like just hearing stories from friends of mine about the stuff they've experienced in Norman. It's not. We just still have a lot of work left to do.
So, I'm very opposed to removing the SOR officers from our schools because it makes my daughter feel safe, like she can go to school. It makes me feel somewhat safe to send her to school. So I just don't even see how we can even consider, in this day and age with all the school shootings and all the threats and everything. And I asked my daughter how she felt about having officers in the school. And she said, it makes me feel safe. So that's what I have to say about that. And I mean, if we're going to defund or reduce anything, maybe we can reduce or defund the city council.
I was watching the whole thing going, why is nobody trolling them all the fucking time? And I got sick of watching no one do it, and somebody had to do it. I was like, this is dumb. Some have greatness thrust upon them.
When did y'all move to Norman, and like, why did y'all come here?
I came here 2 years ago for college, so I've been here ever since.
Same here.
I've been here for like, what is it, like 4 now? Yeah, 4.
Understandable. What was the draw of OU and Norman? Like, what brought y'all here?
Good educational school, yeah.
Atmosphere?
Great football. It's just a great school.
Yeah.
Well, it was here at OSU, so that was pretty easy.
The student life's pretty fun, football games, stuff like that. Pretty lively campus. Plus Norman's got like thousands of things to do.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, there's like 5 different bars you can go to right here, guys.
So like, you said your favorite thing about Norman. What is your least favorite thing about the city?
Oh, the train. The train.
The train!
Having to wait if the train's going.
Or if you live in any of the apartments, the train wakes you up at like 6 a.m. Dude, I got no complaints about Norman.
I got no complaints either.
Yeah.
Everything's close, everything's walking distance.
Well, it's not a big city, so it's not too crowded. They're sort of blissfully ignorant, you know? They're gonna do what their parents raised them to do, you know? I think it's a generational thing here, as with most places. It's specifically not relating to here, obviously, but I just see it in my community where parents, like, raise their children to do what they do, learn what they learn. I grew up with mostly girls. I had all girlfriends at the time because I didn't trust boys. They were mean to me, you know, and I would think of times when they would like call me gay and stuff behind my back as if it was a really derogatory way. And I remember I got invited to this kid's house. And I don't know why I was invited because I wasn't really friends with him. I was friends with some of his friends, but I remember I got invited, and at one point I went upstairs to the restroom. And then they went upstairs, went into the kids' room, and locked the door. So I couldn't get in, and they wouldn't let me in. So I spent that entire night sleeping on a couch in that house. And that's like an instance of like bullying, you know, where that I think people, it's like the problem here. Parents and adults don't raise children in empathy because it's not placed on any importance here. And empathy is just not talked about. Empathy is an important thing, and the most important thing for a human being to be a good human being.
I love to talk, but I'm normally a bad public speaker. Bear with me. I'm 25. I got my bachelor's in psychology, nothing special. But I think there's a massive miscommunication here between the defund side and the non-defund side. I think that the defund side is largely disorganized. I hear a lot of people say abolish the police. I hear a lot of people say reform the police. And I hear a lot of people say defund the police. And I see very little guidance. I see very little insight into what goes on in the police. But also, okay, bear with me. On the other side, I see people advocating to not reform the police, but to be honest and to look at what's going on and have an honest discussion about changes that can be made. I know you don't need a straight white dude validating you in here, but I do not believe that for a second that defunding the police and no offense, designating 4.5 or 3.5, doesn't matter, to a fire station, I don't think that even under first grade level scrutiny that would pass as helping POCs or any of this. Well, okay, I did not interrupt anyone, so I don't think I deserve to be interrupted. Oh, all right, I'm just gonna ignore this. I think that one side wants to be listened to and validated, and the other side doesn't want to listen and maybe validate the other side. And I find it very troubling that we're not taking police and their accounts seriously. They shouldn't all be generalized in the same way that we shouldn't. If CNN or Fox News released a video of a black man committing a violent crime, that's perpetuating our perspective on black people. Okay, we all know that it's ignorant to sit here and say that all black people are violent, that just because they're a color that they are anything. And I think it's equally as ignorant to suggest the same about all police. And I'm just here to remind people, and the city council will bear all of this in mind.
It's the system.
I just think we need to do a better job of listening. I think that literally every single person here can do a better job of listening, myself included.
Thanks for the mansplaining.
Mansplaining? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
The haters and the losers will accuse me of being just like full of hate. But I know that Kevin Stitt deserves every bit of it and more. Yeah, like some of these people I'm trolling would murder me. I got no problem saying they don't care if we live or die. They're the bad guys, and we're the good guys. Never claim civility.
I am a citizen of the absentee Shawnee tribe, and you are occupying my land. I live infuriated that the Blue Lives Matter folks that are here are antagonizing the people coming to you, demanding that you see our humanity. I know you personally. I know you all personally, and I cannot believe that we are having this conversation over and over and over again. Ward 5, my people live there. We do not want more police there because they target and harass us. I will tell you, I have 2 master's degrees, a PhD at the University of Oklahoma, a professor, a political person, and I have been targeted and harassed by the police department in Ward 5. I had myself pulled over because I had a tribal tag, and they said they could not find it in their registry. They ripped my car apart because they thought I was transporting drugs because I was coming from Shawnee to Norman for my PhD meeting. My people don't want more police in Ward 5. We are already racially discriminated against. We do not feel safe encountering these police officers, and I am telling you that as a very privileged and indigenous woman. We do not want them there. that is a valid conversation. As far as everyone else being afraid to do this, we did want to get rid of 64 police officers because that is 64 potential murderers who are brutalizing and antagonizing people who look like me, which none of you can even understand because none of you have my experience as an Indigenous woman living on my land, being occupied by you, telling me what you think is best for me and my people. I want to say that I'm insulted to hear the mayor huffing when a black single woman is up here telling you that she is afraid that her baby is going to get murdered by the Norman Public School District. And I'll tell you, I'm a mother also. My children are Indigenous boys. They are big boys. They're bigger than me. They have long hair. I pulled them out of the Norman Public School because of the racism there. Living in Ward 4, I pulled my kids out of that school because I know that my children will be attacked by the school resource officers. I know that.
Our best days are ahead. 110%. Our best days are ahead.
Hi, I'd like to echo some of what my fellow council members have said about
I share the
this.
sentiments of our previous speaker.
I would like to echo some of the things that Mike said about this amendment.
I'm gonna pick up where Mr. Torby left off. He's saying a lot of the same things I want to say.
I don't think I'm going to say anything that hasn't already been said or that you don't already know.
Because like a lot of people have said before,
I have a similar comments as the ones before.
I didn't really write anything down on this amendment and didn't have a lot to say.
I'd like to reiterate a lot of what the speakers ahead of me have said about compassion.
I see these officers every day, and I see what they do. They're like the military. We handle these type of crises. We go into war zones, we go into dormitories, we see mental health crisis every day. So I feel a kinship with these officers, and they have been doing their job. I've seen them. I've seen them talk a man down 13 minutes into a mental health warrant, and they waited 13 minutes, and then they tased him. They had no choice. But watching these officers, 3 or 4 of them, gently taken down, asking politely not to resist, this is what they're trained to do. And so I'm glad that the money's not taken from the police budget this time. And I know this happens every year, but I agree with the speakers before me that we have the best officers in the state of Oklahoma, okay? You guys seen them work. They're our friends, they're our family, they're our neighbors. And they don't deserve this hostility every time before council and outside agitators. And I know you guys try to do your best to respect them, but from the ones I've spoke to, they feel they're coming into a hostile work environment when all you guys, who are their bosses, attempt to take away their funding. And it's a hostile work environment. To denigrate them. Nobody deserves that at all. So, you know, as we go forward tomorrow and the next day and the next year, I want you guys to realize that no one in our department deserves this.
We talk as though nothing has ever happened in Norman. There's never been an incident in this town, but there has been. There's been a few. Marconi Akesi case was not long ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was in this town, and it was just a couple years ago. And in my opinion, it's very possible that he would still be alive if he hadn't been taken into county jail that night. If he had been given proper medical treatment, not been dragged across the parking lot of Norman Regional Hospital by 2 of our officers. One of those officers not employed by this department anymore. As I understand, he had multiple incidents that led to his termination. The body cam video from that incident is on the internet. The whole world saw it. We talk about embarrassing things that have happened in this community. I find that extremely embarrassing. Officers dragged a man across the parking lot of a hospital, and then 2 hours later, he died in a jail cell. Those officers didn't kill him, but they showed a complete lack of compassion for that human life. And it's on video. You can listen to their comments. They talked to him like he was an animal. That happened in Norman, not 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago. There have been other incidents that have led people to not trust the current police department. And I don't think it's right for this community to completely ignore and dismiss those comments and concerns that have been raised.
This is my first time to publicly get up in front and talk to people like this. I've been in this town for 63 years. I've lived here my whole life, and this last year has been pure hell. I wanted to know if does the OU campus police, do they have police at OU? Okay, why? So they'll be safe, right? Does a university need security? Do we have security at football games? Why? So they'll be safe, right? If the answer is protecting citizens and preventing dangerous situations or even de-escalating situations, then why are you trying to take more money, which in turn we'd lose police, either from retirement or being lured away by other towns like Moore, who appreciate and respect their police department? Defunding the Norman Police Department for 2 years in a row makes no sense to a majority of the citizens of Norman, but you don't listen because you all have your own agenda. None of you seem to have a heart or respect for any of these people that are standing up here and talking to you and watching over this town, these police officers. You think we're backward Okies? Go back to where you came from then, take it back to Kansas or wherever you come from. But leave us the hell alone.
One of the things I love to say is that Nazis are bad at art. They're so bad at art. Like, I figured I was fucking Republican because they did not understand a painting on my wall. And I was like, what are you? A Republican? And they were like, yeah. Anyways, Republicans are super bad at art.
There's an immense courage in responding to an emergency situation. As the son of a firefighter, I have seen the courage of emergency responders firsthand. I take great comfort in knowing that those that put their lives on the line have the appropriate tools for the job. Unfortunately, this is not the case for our police officers who deal with mental health situations. Common sense and data both show that when dealing with unstable people, the presence of tools of violence leads to escalation and harm. This is why we need a team of people trained in the compassionate techniques and armed with the nonviolent tools necessary to approach these situations with care and precision. I urge the City Council to vote to pass this amendment and establish a nonviolent emergency response team here in Norman.
Are we going to go through, in our new state, are we going to go through a gauntlet of guns and cages, or are we going to go through those kind of things, or are we going to be met with a compassionate response? And it doesn't matter how good the person is, if those are the tools that they have, those are the inappropriate tools to respond to that situation. So I think what we're asking for is mental health workers to respond to mental health problems, which I feel like it's just a no-brainer. and 10% as 10% of the calls, according to MPD data, that they respond to are mental health cases, and 6% something are vagrancy. So if you add up like vagrancy, drinking, that's something like it's 20%. Most of those you don't need a gun for, and I mean that's just. I mean, we can look at that's what this amendment's about. It's not about whether police are good or bad. It's not about whether policemen are good or bad people. That's not the issue. The issue is, are we allocating funds in a way that will solve the problems that we have? And yeah, all right, thank you.
I really appreciated Councilmember Holman's comments that we don't even listen to, let alone value other people's experiences. Just because you haven't had it doesn't mean they haven't had it. And I really appreciate what she said about that. I would like to urge you to take a walk down constructive dialogue lane and talk to people. Talk to police officers. Talk to activists. We all probably like food and sports and have to deal with the weather. Right there, 3 things we've got in common. So we have to get past this. We do. And I think we made a lot of compromises here tonight that helped us move forward on some goals and perhaps not move forward on some other goals. And I think we're better for it. I would just like to ask you to continue to be nice to each other. We're neighbors. Our kids go to the same schools. We go to the same churches. We check out books from the same libraries. We are each other's people. We just are. And remember that Norman is the best city, not just in the state of Oklahoma, but I think ever. And I'm obviously biased, but just because of you. So stay engaged. And not just when it gets tough, but celebrate the wins with us. Because I am a firm believer. Our best days are ahead of us.
All of these neo-libs who are really afraid to take a hardcore stance because of Unite Norman, they literally see no difference between Okie Troll and Bria Clark. They see no difference. They see no nuance. Everything is a threat to them. You can totally say things like defund the police, because they're going to say you said it anyways. Hey, say you're a communist. It's fun.
Hello. Yeah, I want to echo an earlier remark that,
There's not a lot to say that has not been said before.
I still don't think these funds are necessary because of the evidence that's spoken about with previous speakers.
I've got some notes here, but it's way past my bedtime, so I might ramble a little. Sorry. I have spoken to the city council multiple times over the past year. I told you about my experiences going through with the NPD, as well as those of my immediate family members. Let's see here. Last time, many of you agreed that change has to happen. However, the FOP said, you should have been here sooner. We've been here. We are here. And it's time to do this. Thank you.